This is a beginner biblical Hebrew lesson 1. All right. So again, very beginner. How to read Hebrew. With Hebrew, we're looking at Hebrew. Hebrew goes from right to left, right? So Hebrew starts over here and goes over to here, right? So when you look at something in the Hebrew, it's a complete opposite of what you're used to looking at when you look at when you're reading. So it's one of those things. Is that's the first kind of thing that you gotta remind yourself that reading is going to be opposite. I don't want to say backwards because like that's our language, right? We've been taught backwards our whole lives, right? So now when we Hebrew, just remember is the opposite. It's the opposite direction, right? Okay, so the first letter in the Alef Beit is Alef. Alef. Okay, pay attention to what the letter looks like here, the Alef, right? The Aleph is a silent letter. If a vowel is written under the Aleph, then only the vowel sound is pronounced, right? So the vowel sound that accompanies, you'll understand what we're talking about with this whole vowel thing as we go on, but the vowel sound that accompanies the letter is what's going to give the Aleph its sound, right? So this is how you write the Aleph. Again, we start over here on this side, right? You take your little pencil, right? Take your little pencil, make a little downstroke like this. Boop, boop. That's an Aleph. Kind of looks a little bit like an N a little bit, but it's an Aleph, right? This line, this line, this line, boom. Okay, so what you should do is practice writing your little Hebrew letters, right? Just like how you did when you was back in grade school when you was learning how to do the little alphabet, right? Not only you want to recognize them, but it's good also kind of a memorization kind of thing to also know how to write the Hebrew, right? Okay, so there is the Aleph, right? And again, this little thing right here is in. We emailed it out to you, and also we have the link to the PDFs also in the description, so you can have your little practice sheet right here. So next is the Beit. The second letter of the Hebrew Aleph Beit is Beit. Looks like this, right? So you'll notice that there's a slight difference between kind of like the style of Hebrew that you'll see like in a book and what the like handwritten Hebrew is basically the same, but this is obviously a little more fancy, right? The Beit sounds like the English letter B, right? This Beit is a B sound, right? And so you write it like this little upside down L, like this, then put the little thing at the bottom, and then the Beit actually has a little dot in the middle. We'll tell you what that dot is a little later, right? But this, for now, it's just like a little dot in the middle. Okay, so that's your Beit, right? So if you have your little pen and paper there, write you about 9 or 10 little Beits so that you can familiarize yourself with the letter, right?
Is there capitals and lowercase in these, or you just say always a
Yeah,
thing?
but there's no capitals or lowercases. Everything's it's just one. There's just one way. Some letters look different when they're at the end of a word. But for the most part, the letter is just what it is, and it's always that. unless it's one of those 5 letters that look different at the at the end of words. But that's you'll learn about those letters though. Okay, but that's a good question though. Okay, so the Beit actually has a sister, right? Called vet. Bet, vet. The bet has 2 forms. The bet without the dot, oh, it's called the dagesh. That little dot that goes in there is called a dagesh. In the middle. Okay, so the bet without the dot is a vet. So it makes a V sound, right? So it's you drawing it exactly the same. The vet is exactly drawn exactly the same as a bet, except it doesn't have that dot in the middle.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
That bottom stroke of the bet, does it extend past the outer stroke?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes past it, yeah. Because if you don't do that, it's gonna look. There's another letter that kind of looks like that. So yeah, it goes past. It goes past it. It's almost like you're making a hangman game. Yeah. So go ahead and practice making some vets. Right now you have Alef, bet, and vet. Okay. So go ahead and write your little letters down. We'll keep on going over here.
One more question.
Yeah,
the difference between the bet and the vet is the dot.
That's the only difference, that you gonna draw them the same, but that vet. See what it is the dagesh is giving it either a hard. I guess the bet would be the hard sound. So when you put that dagesh in the letter, it's making the letter have a hard sound. So the soft sound is going to be that V sound. So vet. So yeah, so the only difference is just that dot. So when we say like Avraham, right? Avraham is a vet, right? Is a vet in the middle. But we'll give you some examples over here in these other next slides. But yes, the only difference is that dagesh, which again is making you use the hard sound as opposed to the soft sound. Okay, so vowels, right? We'll talk about a couple vowels. We learned 2 letters. Vowels in the Hebrew are shown by adding dots and dashes above, beside, and below the Hebrew letters. Knowing the names of the vowels may help with remembering how they are pronounced. However, it is not important to remember vowel names inasmuch as to recognize how they look and the sounds that they make. When I first started learning about these vowels, I really could care less about the name of the vowel. I just kind of want to know what it sounds like. But it definitely is true that knowing the name of the vowel is going to help you in understanding what the sound that vowel makes. But you'll see as we go forward. So let's look at the vowel sound that makes the ah sound. Ah, ah. Right? So the first Hebrew vowels we will learn are for ah sound. So there are 2 main Hebrew vowels that make the ah sound. Both are lines that appear under the Hebrew letters. For these little things here, we're going to have this X that represents it. Could be any Hebrew letter. What we're really looking at is what's underneath, right? So this little T looking thing is a kamats, right? And notice how the kamats, when you say kamats, it kind of makes you do that ah sound, right? And the same is true for the Patach. The Patach, which is just the line, is just a line underneath, right? This is a T looking thing, and this is a line. But when you see both of these little lines, this T looking thing, or this just a straight line, you're going to make the ah sound, right? So again, Kamats is the T, and the Patach is the just a dash. And both of these make you say ah. Right? Okay, so let's look. Let's look over here. So, okay, so the vowel kamats looks like a small T under the Hebrew letters and makes the ah sound, right? So if we look over here, we have this Alef, right? You have an Alef plus the kamats, and then you have the ah. See? That's a ah. So remember, we said this is a silent letter anyway, so it's just going to make the sound of whatever vowel that's underneath it, right? So this is going to say ah, right? This bet here, we know it's a bet because it got that dagesh in the middle, right? With the kamats is going to say ba, ba, right? And then the same thing with the vet, right? We know it's a vet because it don't have that dot in the middle, right? So that says va. Okay, now we get into some nitty gritty right here on the next one, I think. Let's see. Oh, no, not yet. The Patach. The Patach, again, is the same thing. Remember, it makes the same sound, but it just has a dash. So it does the same thing, right? Ah, ba, va. Right? You see that? The Alef, the Beit, the Vet. Ah, ba, va. Okay.
Like, so you can do it either way. Like, if you're trying to make that ah sound, like the ah ba ba, you could do it either with the plus sound or the minus sound under it. I'm just saying that because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Right. Both of those either as you say the plus or the minus sign. It's more like a T, but yeah, or the T or the dash. Either way, it's gonna make that same ah sound. Yes, that's correct. Now there's rules. This is advanced. There's rules as to when they're used, but you know we didn't get to that part yet. But they do make the same exact sound. Okay, so now we talking about something over here now, right? So we got these letters here. You got some reading practice, right? So who here is like just basic beginner that never seen none of this before?
I've never seen none of it.
I've never seen none of it. It looks like
dribble scrabble. It's like
okay, so let's see first if Benaya read that number, that first line right there. Can you read that?
Ah, va, ba, ah, ba, ba, ah, va, ba.
Okay. All right. You were saying va back here, right?
Yeah, that's va, right? With a V.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay, very good. That's how you do that. What about okay, so let's see. What about Monet? Can you hear this second one?
the second one.
Oh, that's hard right there. Got two letters.
Yeah. So would that be? That still look like ah.
Yeah. So what would you say right there?
Ba 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 ba
You killing it. You killing it. Go ahead. What's the next one?
Ba. Where's your cursor?
Okay, that one's gonna be ba ah. You gotta say this letter too.
Yeah. Ba.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Abba
Yeah.
and ah.
Yeah. So see, you got it. That's it. We got any other beginners that just now looking at these letters and never seen them before? One.
You want to try it?
Me, Chris.
Okay, go ahead then. Hit this number 3 then, Chris.
Ba.
Hold on, where you at? Right here.
Ba. Right.
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah.
Ba.
Mm-hmm.
So is that one Ba vet?
You would say of. You would say of right there.
Yeah. Of.
And then this one you would say what?
Ooh, that's hard.
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, you would say Bob. You would say Bob right there. Right,
okay,
because all you going to be doing is just making the sound that this makes since there's no vowel under it, right? So you would say Bob, right?
Bob.
Yeah, so what's this one here?
Bob.
Mm-hmm. What next?
Bet.
Bob.
Yeah, that's Bob. Right. Right. And this one here?
Va.
Well, you won't say va, you'll just be va.
That's what I said. All right.
Yeah. Could I ask a beginner's question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I've heard that there are so many different versions of Hebrew, like Paleo and Yiddish, and I'm not familiar with any of this. Is there a name to this style of Hebrew that we're learning?
This is just gonna be the biblical Hebrew, right? When you got when you got these little things here, the biblical text that you're gonna find, you got these like from the Masoretic text is gonna look like this with these dots.
Okay.
Right, your King James Bible came from a version that looks like this. All right. Okay. So once you know the letters, and you can read Hebrew, well, you'd have to know the other style of letter, but the problem with the letters without the vowel points, these people did us a favor by putting these here, because whenever you would read the text in the Hebrew, you basically already knew what you was looking at because it was basically orally kind of remembered. So they knew what sounds was supposed to go where. But once it got to a point where they had to relearn the language, these people did us a favor when they put these dots and things here, because you can look at two words in Hebrew and they look exactly the same, but they're actually different words, right? So we kind of need these.
It's like these training wheels.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys have this downloaded, and then you can practice looking at these letters, right? And using the vowels, right? We're gonna keep on going. Okay, so look, we got some vocabulary words, right? Father, what'd that say? Well, you probably already know what the word for father is, right? But this is what it looks like, right? Abba, right? Means father.
It's not Abba.
Right, because this is just carrying out the sound from over here, right? Remember, if this don't have no vowel point, all we're gonna do is it's silent. So it just carries it through. So that says Abba, Abba, right? Father. And this says this is the Hebrew masculine singular form for the word that says comes, which is ba. And again, it's not going to say ba'a, right? That says ba, ba, right? So look, we got a little sentence down here for it, right? Just to see, it starts off over here with this Patach at the first letter, and then over here it got the Kamats. So there is a rule, but we're not going to talk about the rule. But just notice that they have one here and one here, right?
Well, even in the word Abba, you know.
Yeah, technically, you could reverse these vowel points, and it would sound the same. But you know, again, we don't want to talk about what that does. This, you know, how it is, because that's just too much right now. But here, over here, right? So now you could say a sentence now. You can say a whole sentence in Hebrew, right? You can read that in the Hebrew, right? Right, look.
And translate it too.
Yeah. That's you guys are some Hebrew scholars now, right? You could say a whole sentence. I mean, we know it says because we got the thing right here, right? This says what? Father comes.
Abba.
Abba. Abba. Ba. Right?
Hey, could I point out something that's interesting?
Good.
When I was stationed in North Korea, the way that you say come in North Korea, in Korean, in that language or dialect of Korean they spoke, was ba. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Another thing that's interesting is that when you listen to there's a relationship between the B and the V, right? And we see that with the bet and the vet and the hard style and the soft style of saying that. Okay, that was just a little tidbit for you. Okay, so now we got some biblical application, right? We got the opening verse of the Torah right here, right? The opening verse of the Torah So what we want to do is we want to identify and recognize the Alefs and the Beits that are here, right? If you have your little paper, you can circle all the Kamats that you find, and you can circle all of the Patachs that you find. And if the vowel is under an Alef or a Beit, you could go ahead and pronounce that thing, you know, with your little thing. So if we look over here, this right here, we have it kind of transliterated underneath. This says Bereshit, right? That's what this says here. All these letters here. Bara. That's this. Bara. Elohim, right there. Et. Hashemayim. Va'et. Ha-aretz. Right? That says in the beginning, Bereshit. Bara is created. Elohim. Et it's not really the, but it's kind of like it. The heavens, Hashemayim, and the earth. Right there. Right? So that's definitely advanced right there. But what you can be able to do is you can recognize the letters that you learned. Right? And then you can also see them used with the vowel points. And this is like, again, this is bara. So you can see how that could be bara because it has a ba right there with that, see, look, I can't remember what the kamats, right? Kamats and the patach is the line, right?
You can see how it follows through. The Alef sound continues the ah from the resh,
From the
ba,
resh.
ra.
From this letter here, right? Okay, so if you have your little printout, right, you can look at there and recognize. Another thing, if you have like a Chumash or Tanakh with the Hebrew letters, you know, go open it up and look and see if you can recognize your little Alefs and your Beits that you've learned in there, right? And see, look at it like that, okay? All right. So that concludes our beginners section, right?
Shalom, and see you next time.